Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Fall University Transfer Fair. This hour, we're going to be looking at the University of North Carolina at Wilmington. We have Sydney Mazuka, who will be presenting to us. She is the Transfer Student Success Coordinator for UNCW. And she's going to give us a lot of great information today. And at the end of the presentation, which should be around 20 minutes or so, we will have a Q&A session. So if at any time during the presentation you think of a question, go ahead and add it to the show Q&A up at the top. There's a little conversation with a question mark in it. You can go ahead and put your questions in there, and then after the presentation, we'll go through and answer your questions. Please feel free to add them at any time or wait till the end and add them. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Sydney Mazuka, and take it away, Sydney.
Great. Thank you so much. I'm super excited to be here. I know still kind of sad it's virtual, but I know it's so much more efficient that way. So thank you for joining in, or if you're watching the recording later on, thanks for listening in. I know it's going to sound cheesy, but really my job here is to explain to you how the University of North Carolina Wilmington is like no other, specifically in the state. So I'll get started by giving you some numbers just to give you an idea of our student population. So we actually had record-breaking numbers in fall 2021, so that's this semester. So we broke just over 18,000, which was exciting, first time in our almost 75 years being a school. So that gives us the mid-size institution range. So you're going to have the D1 sports, but it definitely has a smaller, more private school feel. Now we have 58 baccalaureate level degrees, 35 master's degrees, 4 doctoral, and I'll break that down a few popular programs in a second. But I love to point out on this slide our 49% transfer welcome rate. So every fall we bring in over 2,000 students, and so that's just about 50% of our incoming class every year. So you're not alone. UNCW is extremely friendly for transfer students. We're one of the top 3 in the state for most transfers every year. So a really great option for transfer students, obviously biased, but a great choice. We are always ranked in the top 100 best public national universities. That's an incredible ranking. And then all of our programs are typically accredited. So always look out for that as well. As far as military affiliation, so 2,300 students roughly are military affiliated, so extremely military friendly if that's something you're utilizing military benefits. We do have the Yellow Ribbon program, also something to check out compared to other schools. Now our in-state, out-of-state is posted, so 86% in-state, 14% out of state, and I love to point out that actually 60-some% of our transfer students come from a North Carolina community college. So obviously Wake Tech being a big feeder for us, so that's something to highlight as well. Now academics, I said I'd go into further detail. So we do have 4 total colleges. So Health and Human Services, Arts and Science, Cameron School of Business, and Watson College of Education. So within those 4 colleges, we have 58 undergraduate majors. And some top transfer specific majors are going to be biology, marine biology, film studies, communications, business, just to name a few. Obviously we have close to 60, so if I didn't list it, please feel free to ask questions regarding a major you're interested in. Now giving you that student to faculty ratio, 18:1, 27 average class size. Very, very true for transfer students. Most of you are completing an associate's degree, so you will be diving into your major level courses, which are of course small, if not even smaller. Now, I love to point out, especially for my transfer students, our distance education options. So these first top, 5 are completely online degree options, and then we have our online accelerated programs, RN to BSN and respiratory therapy, and then our social work program does require you to live in Onslow County, so if you were able to move, it is more of a hybrid program at our extension campus. Now, beyond the classroom, this is something that I definitely feel UNCW does an incredible job at. So every single one of our programs implements what they like to call high impact practices, which is just a fancy way of like hands-on learning. So internship, study abroad, some type of just engaging learning experience. And it is incorporated in every single program you were to choose. So every program has a capstone project or internship component attached to it. So in turn, we have an accomplishment rate of 91%. So what that means is 91% of our students have a job or are going to graduate school within 6 months of graduating. So that's incredible. You want to go to school, you don't want to be in school forever, and you want to then graduate and find a career that you enjoy or continue your education with UNCW or elsewhere. So that's an incredible perk that UNCW does offer. Now, some campus life items. So we have 19 Division I athletic teams. A lot of people don't realize that. 60 plus sports clubs, so intramurals, and then our club teams are like the JV of college, and then over 300 student organizations, and we have 3 or 4 specific organizations for transfer students. A lot of those are going to be there to help you get implemented and transition over to UNCW, but then also to find a really good fit if it comes to a student organization or club that you're interested in. Now, college and culture, something that I love about UNCW is that we have some incredible opportunities for minority students and diversity on campus. And so some of my favorite, I love our Centro Hispano Club. They do some incredible events and just are so warm and welcoming. So we have 65 plus multicultural student and community-based organizations as well. Now, for transfer students, I definitely will say living on campus at UNCW is a phenomenal option. So we have different types of living situations. So anything from traditional to suite or apartment style. So you can choose to live on campus or you can choose to live off campus. So that is entirely up to you. We do have some great resources for off-campus housing. So if you needed any type of situation where you have a dog or you need something specific, we have some great resources for that, but you do have the option. So if that's something you had questions regarding, definitely let me know, since you have a lot of options. So if you're indecisive, that could be a struggle, of course, but definitely let me know when it comes to housing. Now, if you're familiar with Wilmington, you're definitely well aware that we have the beach. So Wrightsville is about 5 miles away from campus, and then Carolina Beach and Curry Beach aren't far away either. But of course, we have our incredible historic downtown. So that has that riverfront. We've actually got a brand new park amphitheater, which is phenomenal. So that they did some incredible concerts this summer and continuing through the fall. And then of course, Wilmington has a very vibrant film scene. So we have a film studies program that I mentioned, and Wilmington is well known for some well-known films that were filmed in Wilmington. So that goes hand in hand with that. And then we do have a 15-mile cross-city trail, which is incredible. So that's something, if you do love the outdoors and want to break from the beach, that's a great way to get outside too. Now, I'll go ahead and run through the admissions process. I will start by saying that we do not admit by major, so that's something to consider. And if you have questions regarding specific requirements for your major, feel free to ask those here. That's definitely what this time is for. But our minimum requirements will be listed on here, and I'll go through those. So once you apply, you submit your application. We need official high school transcripts, and I can explain why if someone has questions regarding that. And then we do need your official post-secondary transcripts. So if you've gone somewhere besides Wake Tech, we'll also need those official transcripts, and then military transcripts if that's applicable. Now, our minimum recommended criteria is going to be 24 hours completed or in progress, 6 hours of English, 3 hours of math, and a 2.5 cumulative GPA. So that's our minimum criteria. And then of course, if you had questions regarding your major, please let me know to obviously maximize your time here at Wake Tech. Our deadlines there are listed. They're the same every year. So if you're looking at this upcoming spring 2022, this Friday is our priority deadline. So if you are thinking you wanted to start in January with us, make sure to complete that this Friday to be reviewed, because if space fills up, we would move you to summer or fall, which that entry deadline is going to be March 1st for our priority deadline. So keep that in mind. We are making decisions on a rolling basis. So as soon as I receive those materials, you should receive a decision within a month or so. Just depends on the influx and amount of applications we have at the time. Now, I really want to highlight our Pathways to Excellence program. This is a co-admission agreement or guaranteed admission agreement we have with Wake Tech. So there's some incredible perks with it. And all it is an intent form. So if you're even slightly interested in UNCW, we recommend you fill it out within your first year at Wake Tech. And it's going to guarantee you admission if you're pursuing a transfer associate's degree with that 2.5 GPA. And then obviously, it'll give me your information, so it'll put you in touch with me and I can help with pre-advising questions. So again, if you're looking for what classes do I need to take for nursing or business or so on, I can assist you in that pre-advising role. And then it does add a tag on your account, so you would be priority for our merit-based transfer scholarship, which is $3,000, and it will also waive your application fee. So an incredible opportunity. It's not binding, so if that's something that you have slight interest in UNCW, highly recommend filling out that intent form. You can reach out to me and I'm more than happy to send it to you. Now, as far as financial aid goes, I did just mention that scholarship, but of course, if you're utilizing FAFSA here at Wake Tech, make sure to fill out FAFSA for the year you're intending on applying to UNCW. So if you are planning to actually apply for next fall, I would highly recommend filling out FAFSA for next year already at UNCW up there, and that'll just help. So once you're admitted, your information goes to financial aid. As long as you've submitted your FAFSA, they will begin reviewing it. So that priority deadline is January 1st for fall 2022 and so on. So the sooner the better, because it is first come, first served basis. So that's always something to consider. Now, as far as scholarships goes, I did mention our merit-based scholarship. You're automatically reviewed for that, so that's not something you have to apply for. But we do have other merit and departmental scholarships available once you're admitted, so applying early is key. Majority, if not all of our scholarships are for summer or fall start only, so unfortunately spring sometimes is left out there hanging if you start in the spring. But even if you're starting in the spring, take advantage of the application for scholarships. So those will open December 1st, and the priority deadline is March 1st. So the sooner that you apply and are admitted, the longer you'll have to apply to the scholarships and opportunities that are out there. So definitely keep that in mind. That is all I have. I try to keep it brief because I know sometimes questions can be specific. So my contact information is on the screen. I believe we'll leave that up there for you guys. And I'll also mention tomorrow I do have my virtual Wake Tech table visit. So if you wanted more personal one-on-one time, we don't make it to your question, feel free to dive in. Actually, I'm not sure, that might be located somewhere on the Wake Tech website. I should have grabbed that as well, but feel free if you wanted to join me tomorrow for that. I will have hours from 12 to 2 virtually, so if you wanted to stop by and ask some questions then too, you can.
Yes, so that information is posted on Extra. So if you go to extra.waketech.edu and view the events calendar, you will be able to see that information on the calendar.
Perfect.
Okay, now we're opening the floor to questions. So if anybody wants to pop in and ask a question, sure Sydney can come up with an answer. Don't be shy.
If there's no questions, that's impressive. I did a great job, right?
That's right. That's right.
Sydney, I will get things started just to kind of give students a little more information. They oftentimes have questions about how their GPA will be calculated for transfer admissions. So do you all just use the GPA that has been calculated on their Wake Tech transcript? You know, especially considering if they've repeated a few courses, or do you all do your own calculation for GPA?
Yeah, which is a great question, and I highly recommend students ask whatever schools they're interested in. So for us, we will only be counting whatever's transferable, which can hurt or help. So if it's transferable, it is counted, but we do recalculate. So unless a student attended Wake Tech and everything's transferable, then we'll just take obviously the bottom program cumulative GPA. But if not, we do combine with other schools. We don't count like the repeated, so we do the same thing if you repeated or replaced a course. We'll do the same exact thing, kind of just forget about the F and the new grade's an A, but we will only be calculating the transferable coursework. So that's kind of our difference there, and then we would combine with whatever other schools if that was applicable. Yeah, which is a great question.
Okay, we do have one question from Natalia. Can you talk about general education requirements for graduation that are not waived by the CAA?
Yes, great question. So with Wake Tech, if you have a 3.0 or higher, everything is actually waived besides our foreign language. So that's the only one really that is not waived, is our foreign language requirement. So it is a little complicated. So if you've graduated within 7 years and you're pursuing the same language, then you'll need through our 201, which I believe is Wake Tech's 211, or just the first intermediate level. And then if it's a different language, you only need the first 2, if that makes sense. And that's one of those ones I'm happy to look over it, but it does not waive the foreign language. In the short answer is does not waive foreign language.
And if you're below a 3.0?
And then if you're below a 3.0, so it's not going to waive, definitely the PE, so that one is going to be required. And then for the most part, it should waive all the other general education courses unless it's a prerequisite. So like Math 171 is the minimum requirement for business. It's a prerequisite, not necessarily a general education requirement. But yeah, so if you're below a 3.0, the other one will be the PE, that's Health 110 at Wake Tech, that it's not waived. So that's the other bigger one that's not waived if you have below a 3.0.
Sydney, I know you touched base on the most popular degrees awarded at UNCW, but would you be able to speak more to maybe the top 3 major choices among transfer students, just historically speaking?
Yes, absolutely. So top 3, and I totally forgot to mention nursing. We're really well known for nursing, but marine biology and biology are up there. Nursing and business. Cameron School of Business is ranked pretty high up there within the state and the United States. Cameron School of Business is phenomenal. The number of options within Cameron School of Business blow me away. I'm indecisive, so I'm like, I want to study all of this. So business is a big one, and that Math 171 can be a kicker sometimes because that is the minimum requirement. And then actually social work. I've seen a lot of social work and psychology even. Our social work program is great just because, again, we implement that hands-on learning with every program that we have to offer. And so social work has some super robust opportunities for observation, internship hours, and that sort of thing. So we've got so many incredible options, but those are like the top most popular programs for transfer students. And then communication studies is even a really, really strong one too.
Okay, we do have another question about foreign language. What if my mother language is already other than English? Does that requirement still apply?
Great question. And so yes and no, but most students that I have that are bilingual, we actually have a test that you might have taken at even Wake Tech, but you can actually test out or place out of our foreign language requirement. So that's something once you apply and are admitted, super simple. You would just it's a free placement test and you can place out of the foreign language requirement. So that's an opportunity as well that we give all students. So that's it sounds like this student would be a great option.
So they should check with you whether you have a placement test for their language.
Yep, exactly. And even if we don't, I have seen in the past if there is a type of placement test that we can receive. I'm trying to remember what the language was. This was actually not too long ago. But if we don't offer a placement test, we will accept from other places.
Okay.
So Sydney, I know you mentioned that you all are looking for at least 24 hours to either be completed or in progress. Is there a maximum number of credits that you will accept from transfer students?
Very good question. Yes, maximum from a 2-year, so Wake Tech or anywhere else, is 64 credits. So that's our max credit hour limit. We will do a really good job though. So if you had like 75, we'll make sure we take what applies to your major, of course. Our average is about 40, 41 credit hours. But I know a majority of our students are completing that associate's degree. So that's a really good question. But 64 is the max from Wake Tech.
Quite a bunch at the end of the day here.
Now, Sydney, for a student who is transferring prior to completing their associate in arts or science degree, so they're just transferring in maybe a few classes, when they apply and they are notified of their decision, do they automatically get like a transcript evaluation that shows like what credits transferred in and how they're plugging in? And is there a specific person that they will know who to contact about that?
Definitely. So the degree audit happens typically within 2 weeks of being admitted, usually pretty quick. And so then after that, really the goal would be to reach out to advising, but I'm actually more than happy. I'm going through a student. We're waiting for that audit to come back. As soon as it comes back, I'm more than happy to go through it and the options, because a lot of times if students haven't deposited and completed orientation, advising isn't available yet. So I'm more than happy to go through that degree audit with the student to see what some options may be depending on how their credits are transferring over. So about 2 weeks it takes, and then after that, I would say meet if they are unsure of UNCW. If not, I would say go ahead and deposit and meet with your advisor, because all students will be assigned an advisor once they go ahead and deposit.
Great, thank you. Okay, so it looks like we had a question from a student that is specifically about online classes. They want to know if there's a maximum number of online credits that they can transfer. Like if they completed half of their credits at Wake Tech online, does that mean the credits will not transfer because they've done so much online?
We cannot see whether it's been done unless I don't think so. Most transcripts won't show us whether it's been completed online or not. So as long as it's transferable, so part of that articulation agreement, we will accept it. And so we cannot see if it's been completed online or in person. So it shouldn't hurt you at all with us. Yeah. Which I've heard that question before, which actually I don't think the transcripts won't say whether it's been done online, right?
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
Okay, question. Oh, okay, that's follow-up to the same question. Never mind. They were clarifying.
Well, I can give my best transfer tip. So I actually was a transfer student myself. I went to Wake Tech and transferred. And my biggest tip, or I guess thing I didn't do that I wish I would have, was visit campuses. So even if you have your mindset on one school, visit a couple different schools, because I think that's so important. If you can't see yourself there, even if they have what you're interested in, if you're not going to enjoy your time, what's the point? You definitely should enjoy the rest if you can. I know everyone's situation is different, but that's something I think I wish I would have done. And then the other thing, once I was there, is get more involved. So get over involved if you can. I know a lot of my students work. I did while I was in college. So that's something though that if you can just get involved in one or two things, it just will make your experience even better. So wherever you decide to go, whether it's UNCW or not, just get involved in clubs and organizations or sports, whatever it is that is your thing or your niche. Definitely just get involved to just enjoy your time and your transfer process even more. So that's my biggest tip for transferring, because I was a transfer student myself.
That's a good one. Well, we do have a survey for everybody who attended to fill out, and when you fill out the survey, you're actually entered into a raffle to get $25 gift card. So in the Q&A chat, you'll see at the bottom, Ashley has posted the link to that survey. We would love your feedback, and you will also get that opportunity to win some moolah. So if you have any further questions for Sydney, go ahead and take a snapshot of her contact page and reach out to her. She will be doing the virtual table tomorrow through our extra. And anybody have any other thing they want to share? All right. Well, everybody have a great day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sydney. It was great information.
Thanks.